Yo, this is Nucleo, as you know. So this is part two. This is part two, and I'm going to show you how it works. Uh, because it may not make sense to very many people, but it makes sense to me because this is an AI co-intelligence that's supposed to help you with molecular biology, genetic engineering, cell biology, all the shit that I'm into. So we have all the professional side and we have the biohacker side all wrapped in one. I use it every day, building it every day. The research brain bank here is all built by all curated research for myself and the RAG database, or those that I trust have been adding studies. And so with that, if you want to know how the RAG database works, join the Patreon. It's there's a whole article there of how it works. Anyway, let's get to it because that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you how to use it like a real scientist or biohacker or biopunk or whatever you want to call yourself. All right, so let's say tell me about cell to cell communication. All right, very cool. And I have key bindings, so it just fires off, which I'll share sometime. So thinking. That's what it does. Then you get these outputs, which we'll go over. But first, before that, we're going to say, oh, okay, so we got 11% from the knowledge base. I always say that it's like anything greater than double digits is pretty good. And so it's accurate. And so the whole thing is the outputs are crude, but it's a smarter agent. Like this is a smarter agent that's built for this. All right. So anyway, it always starts with the title at the top, and then it gives you a quick summary. Okay, but this is what I want to talk to you about is how this works, meaning these dense outputs. So the idea is to keep all the density in the output and use some repetition so then it renders in your mind. So for me, I have ADHD, and so I see that the different colors in text that helps me scan faster, so I can process the information faster. The second thing is like when I want to stop and I want to ingest what it's because this is not made for the general public. This is made for scientists or biohackers or those that are learning about biology. And the outputs are dense. It's smart. It's a smart, scientifically dense agent. Okay, so for example, we have conceptual frameworks here. It says feature, definition, key parameters. Okay, so the feature is specificity. The definition is determined by the repertoire of receptors, adhesion molecules, and gap junction channels expressed on a given cell. The key parameter is ligand receptor affinity, post-translation modifications, and subcellular localization. Okay, so then we hit the double pipe. The double pipe sends us back to back to the feature. Okay, so the feature is range. The definition is the distance over which the signal operates, and the key parameters is these guys. All right, so then we're here at the double pipe, which is two lines, right? That's speed. Now that speed is the feature. And then here, so that's how you read this. So it recursively reads, right? So you have to understand what you're looking at as the feature, the definition, or the key parameter, and you have to put it all together. And that's how some repetition action helps you learn what you're reading. So it looks like this. I'm like, okay, I want to learn about cell communication. I'm scanning, and then I'm scanning, and then I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? I need to learn about autocrine and paracrine signaling. So I need to know the components, the ligands, the receptor classes, the downstream pathways. Okay, so I'm like, oh, a component, growth factors. All right, so the typical ligands are all of these guys here. Okay, receptor classes, these are the receptor classes. And then you can stop and dig a little deeper, but that's how this whole thing works, right? And so you'll see you get down here to the bottom here, and it's like, okay, well, why the fudge did this stop, right? And this is where you can throw on a short-term memory, and you can say, please continue that thought, right? And then fire it off. So what that does is it passes all the context back into the model, right? Runs it through the RAG, passes through the model, and then you get the output. Okay, so size 5 is this. So then it continues the thought until it gets all the way to where it stopped, which is right here. And it looks like there's even more, and you can continue to go. But let's say, hey, you know what? I don't want all of that. So I'm going to throw it into speed research and be like, can you organize this so I can present to a high schooler, which is, I don't know, high schooler, fifth grader, whatever you want to call it. And it'll pass all the context back in, right? And then it'll give you an output which is probably more suited for a high schooler, and it has everything from start to finish, right? Now, if you want to be a ultimate gangster and you say, well, okay, I need to know more about ligands, right? So, but you're going to click on the deep reasoning mode. So you want the model to reason more around the specific item with using all the context. So we're going to throw it back in there. And it's going to go through, and of course it streams all the reasoning so you can kind of read it. And then, okay, so now it's looking at different ligands, neurotransmitters, hormones, cytokines, pheromones, and it gets there and it's doing all the reasoning that you want, types of ligands and everything, and you can scan it down and you can see there, you can see that the context of text and the highlighted is really what you want to look at. And at the end of the day, you're like, okay, you know what? I want to kill this conversation. Boom. Or you want to clear it out. You can clear it out and you can keep the context and just keep building on it until you bust a context window. You can do that. But I like to kill it here, and then refresh it, right? And that's how it works. All right, but I'm going to show you one quick trick here, which is the enhanced prompt. So let's say central dogma molecular biology. All right, so I just put that in there. Now I'm using the prompt enhancement feature, which is going to enhance the prompt. We're all lazy prompters, so it enhances the prompt. And you're like, okay, I'm going to use that guy. That's a beautiful prompt. It's telling what it needs to happen. And so you're going to hit the prompt, and then it's going to go and it's going to give you, but you see it's 10% here. Okay. So you're like, okay, I'm going to kill that. I'm going to say, can you organize this, please, so I can understand. When you hit it back in the research mode. But you get the idea is like on the output that you get, if you want it to be a little bit more, you're going to understand each of the different modes and what their purposes are. And then as you get more in tune, and you see this one had the speed research mode had a 17% from the knowledge base. And the knowledge base is only going to get bigger. We're going to get thousands, 10,000, 20,000 papers in there. We're going to make a huge database. And again, that's the point. If you want to become a pro member right here, I have this private community that I have started with a bunch of really killer researchers that were starting to do a lot of like performance research and things like that. So check that out. And you can email the devs, which is me. You can decide to sign up. Oh, I forgot to show you how to export a chat, but we can do that next time. So for this video, thanks for watching. This is Nucleo Walkthrough Part 2. Remember, it's the first line, and then you stop at the double pipe, and that starts it over. So you're recursively returning to the topic, so your brain is not losing everything. You're not just looking at an abstract factor. It's association. Your brain is doing association with the topic on the output. Anyway, this is Nucleo. You may love it, you may hate it. Check it out, use it, and I'll see you.